16 o'clock. It's the traditional news hour on Freedom. Hello, my name's Mikhail Baranov, and I'll be telling you about the important events of this Tuesday. Last night, the Zaporizhzhia region was once again under attack by Russian occupiers. The Russian army attacked a civilian infrastructure facility with drones. A fire and rescue station was damaged, the building's windows and doors were blown out, and the roof was also damaged. At the time of the attack, the personnel were out on an emergency call, putting out a fire, so none of the rescuers were injured. Critical energy facilities became the target of Russian attacks in the Dnipropetrovsk region. As a result of the strike there, as well as in the neighboring Zaporizhzhia region, more than 5,000 customers lost power. According to local authorities, energy workers are carrying out emergency repair and restoration work. In total, on the night leading into Tuesday, Russian forces launched 110 drones at Ukraine from 7 directions. According to the Ukrainian Air Force Command, Ukrainian air defense managed to neutralize 84 drones. The attack was repelled by aviation, anti-aircraft, and missile troops, electronic warfare and drone units, as well as mobile fire teams. Ukrainian Special Operations Forces used drones to strike a Russian warehouse in temporarily occupied Donetsk. A large number of reconnaissance and strike drones belonging to the Russian army were stored there, along with their warheads. In addition, soft drones struck Semikino in the temporarily occupied Luhansk region. A fuel and lubricants depot belonging to the Russian Armed Forces Southern Group was hit. As a result of the attack, tanks containing about 6,000 cubic meters of fuel were destroyed. The General Staff of the Ukrainian Armed Forces recorded 139 combat engagements over the past day. Russian occupiers attacked defense forces positions 10 times in the Lyman direction, 15 times in the Huliaipol sector, and Ukrainian troops repelled another 16 attacks on the Kostiantynivka bridgehead. In the Alexandrivka area, Russian forces tried to break through the defenses 17 times. On the most intense section of the front, near Pokrovsk, Ukrainian defenders stopped 43 enemy attacks. Ukrainian Defense Forces eliminated 930 Russian occupiers over the past day. Thus, according to the General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, the total losses of the Russian army since the start of the full-scale war have exceeded 1,182,000 soldiers. In addition, the previous day, Ukrainian defenders destroyed 2 armored combat vehicles, 27 artillery pieces, a multiple rocket launcher system, and 62 units of the enemy's special automotive equipment. A Russian military cargo plane, the An-22 Ante, crashed near Moscow. According to Russian media, this happened in the Ivanovo region. The aircraft belonged to the Ministry of Defense of the aggressor country. There were 7 crew members on board. Preliminary reports indicate that they all died. 1.5 billion hryvnias in budget support have been allocated to Ukrainian defense industry manufacturers. The funds are designated for recovery after Russian attacks and to resume operations. This was announced by Defense Minister Denis Shmyhal. According to him, the updated financing mechanism made it possible to quickly allocate funds to eliminate the consequences of Russian shelling. We are working to ensure that the Ukrainian defense industry operates in safe conditions for development and that Ukrainian soldiers are provided with everything they need. At the same time, we are developing a comprehensive action plan to protect the domestic defense industry from threats. It provides for changing the geography of production, relocating the capacities of critically important enterprises, moving production out of areas where the Russian army uses glide bombs, and building underground manufacturing complexes. Denis Shmyhal, Minister of Defense of Ukraine, Faceback. The armed forces of Ukraine are increasingly relying on technology, from aerial reconnaissance to robotic systems, logistics, evacuation, equipment, evacuation of the wounded, demining. These missions are already being carried out by ground robots. Correspondents from Freedom TV channel visited the production site of advanced technology and found out how new platforms are created. Details in the report here.
We have such developments.
Here we have developments that already have a certain number of orders. One of them is the firefighter snake. It is used by the State Emergency Service of Ukraine. This is also a new platform. It is also in the process of codification. This is the mini logistics snake, which will also be used in combat. What makes it more effective? Compared to the big snake, it's small and easy to transport. Vasily, a former soldier, continued to help his comrades even after serving in the armed forces. He founded the company in 2023, together with a small group of like-minded people, when he received a request from sappers for a simple, inexpensive, but also an effective tool for clearing fields of Russian mines. The first prototype of the robotic platform was assembled from whatever materials were at hand.
Considering that I'm a veteran, in 22, after leaving the armed forces of Ukraine, in 23, we started getting requests from comrades at the front that they needed a demining device, since the fields were sown with mines, and they needed a way to avoid damaging them. And all this had been done for years, and they wanted to somehow mechanize and speed it up. Accordingly, it was born. The first piece is a remote-controlled mine clearer.
A fully fledged ground robot capable of withstanding anti-personnel and even anti-tank explosions. All parts were made as simple as possible so that the military could repair the vehicle directly at their positions.
It is armored, can handle all types of mines, and can survive anti-tank ones. No one believed that small platforms could withstand such huge mines. It is quite lightweight, and some of its replaceable parts, and some light repairs. It doesn't have any complex components, for example, logistical ones. The repair principle is quite simple and easy. That means it can be repaired fairly quickly in the field.
Gradually, the lineup expanded. Logistic platforms appeared for delivering ammunition, evacuating the wounded, or transporting other robots. Such ground-based robotic systems can traverse difficult terrain, are not afraid of mines, and can withstand attacks from FPV drones.
This is a remotely operated platform with a manipulator that can function as a loader. The front arm can also be replaced with a bucket, allowing it to be used remotely as well. A remotely operated excavator? This is the Snake Droid 12.7, where we integrated a turret into it. A Browning 12.7 machine gun is mounted on it. The firing range and accuracy are over a kilometer.
The company has already received NATO codification. This means their equipment has been entered into the unified NATO database and meets the requirements for production standards and identification. Such status simplifies cooperation with military organizations and allows them to officially supply products to partners.
The only goal is to protect the lives of service members. I can say that our systems are operating from the Sumy region to Zaporizhzhia along the entire front line. We have established support grids. We always respond quickly to any of their needs. That's why we have a lot of brigades using our systems. Since
the beginning of the year, ground robotic systems have already evacuated 147 wounded soldiers. In 2025, the government has contracted for between 10,000 and 15,000 UGVs. This is the largest army robotization program since the beginning of the war. Already about 30 new models have been officially approved for use, and more than 70 are currently undergoing testing. According to military forecasts, in 2026, the armed forces need may increase to 30,000 ground robotic platforms. This will mark a new stage in automation and frontline safety technology. Yulia Bell, Vadim Dmitriev from Lviv region, reporting for Freedom TV channel.
A state of emergency has been declared in Lithuania. The reason is the flights of media drones carrying contraband from Belarus. As stated by Lithuania's Ministry of Internal Affairs, this status will not affect the country's residents in any way, since the measures taken are aimed exclusively at the organizers and perpetrators of illegal activities. According to the Lithuanian Ministry of Internal Affairs, the state of emergency will allow agencies to coordinate their work even more closely and involve military units for assistance. Because of such balloons, I remind you, the work of Vilnius Airport has already been stopped several times. Law enforcement agencies continue to search for those involved for the transportation of contraband. Vilnius will consider the possibility of freezing or confiscating Belarusian assets in Lithuania. The president stated this, "Gitanos Nausėda." According to him, the decision will be made at the State Defense Council, which will take place in mid-December.
At the State Defense Council, we talked about integrated air defense. We are now talking about other issues that will be addressed at the next State Defense Council. First of all, about what Belarusian assets exist and what possible options there are in this area. That is, simply to freeze or confiscate Belarusian assets that are located in the Republic of Lithuania. Gitanas Nausėda, President of Lithuania, on the air of Lithuanian National Radio and Television.
Subscribe to The Gaze and stay updated on the most important events, top news from Ukraine and all over the world, in-depth analysis, exclusive reports and interviews. all hand in our channel. Join our community of viewers and stay tuned.